4-Star Pilates, and our exercise today is Seater Mermaid. This is a lovely exercise that allows us to kind of side bend and open up through the sides of the body. We usually use it at the end of class to sort of give us a little stretch, but also some strength and stability through the sides of the body. I'm going to show you some different options, so hopefully you can find one that works best for your body. I want to start with this version, sitting out with the legs out long in front of us. And the most important part of this exercise that I want you to think about is the alignment of your body. So when I talk about being in a neutral alignment, this is what I'm talking about. You can see how my ear, my head, and my neck is in line with my shoulder here, and my shoulders are in line with my hips. So I can feel my sit bones, those hard little bones on either side. If you were sitting on a hard surface, you would feel those. I'm right on top of those. That allows me to kind of lift that pelvic floor and draw those lower abdominals in. Most people, a lot of people have tightness in their hip flexors and sometimes find it challenging to sit up this straight, and we end up like this to compensate. So my pelvis is tipped back a little bit and I sort of miss the essence of the exercise. So if you're experiencing that, there's a way that you can use some props to kind of lift you up and let go of some of that tightness in your hips. So in a studio, we often have a block like this. If you have something like this at home, it's a nice way to lift up. And you can see already how that created a little ease. I feel a little more ease in my body, and I can sit more easily in this nice neutral alignment. But if you don't have one of these, you can also use pillows. These are just a couple of throw pillows off my couch. Stack them up, bring them underneath your hips. And these are a little bit tall, but they're going to sink down as I sit with them. So you can see a little bit more ease, and I'm just sitting up nice and tall. So I'm going to face you for our first version of the mermaid. So find that nice neutral alignment. Go ahead and grab whatever props you need and come back to this sitting position with the legs out long in front. So what I want to start with is feeling that length through the spine. I'm really lifting my ribs up off of the top of my hips here, so I've got this length through my spine here. I'm drawing the pelvic floor up, and I'm drawing those lower abdominals in. So you're stabilizing, and then we're going to lift one hand gently to the sky. This isn't like a reach with the arm overhead. There's no tension in the shoulders and the neck here. I'm just lifting that arm, and I'm going to find that length through the side of my body as I side bend over. So this hand is going to support me a little. And honestly, on these pillows, it feels a tiny bit unstable. So I'm not going to go as far as maybe I could if I was on a more solid surface. And then feeling those obliques working as I'm lifting myself back up. And then trying that on the other side as I lift that arm. And then I'm going to lift my ribs and I'm going to side bend over the other way. Very light touch in my hand here. So most of the work is happening here in those obliques. So the other version we could do, if it feels comfortable for your body, is to sit in this cross-legged position. And basically it's the same exercise. We're going to lift up and side bend over. So I'm kind of gliding my hand out to the side, and I'm using those obliques. Feel yourself pull from the opposite side to lift yourself back up. And I'm side bending over, and I'm using those side bodies to lift and releasing down. So the third version of this is just sitting on the floor in our mermaid position. So our mermaid C is here, where this one leg is crossed in front of us here, and the outside leg is bent. I've got that leg a little bit close to my body, but you can bring it where it's comfortable for your knee. And you're going to feel a little bit of unweighting in the hip on this leg as you come out. You can almost imagine pushing this leg against something to anchor yourself down. So let's start this one here in this T position with the arms. And I want you to think of lifting the pelvic floor, drawing those abdominals in, feeling that length through the spine, and then just leaning out a little bit. So as I come to this diagonal line, this hip is unweighted. That sit bone is no longer touching the floor. So the work of holding my body here is coming from the side bodies, those obliques. I'm going to let this hand come down with a light touch, and I'm side bending over. Now I'm going to focus on this opposite side to lift back up, coming back into the T just momentarily, and then back side bending the other way, and then back to the T. Let's try that on the other side. into this position. Already this hip is lifted a little bit, which is fine. And we're gonna come here in the T. We're gonna lean out into that diagonal, letting that hand rest with ease. So we're not reaching up, we're just lifting, side bending over. Use those side bodies to bring yourself back up, and then just an easy stretch in the other direction and back to the T. One more version, which is kind of fun, using a prop. If you have a ball or a foam roller, anything that'll glide along the floor. I'm going to switch my legs just to variety here. So resting the ball, we're going to slide that ball away. So I'm raising the arm up, I'm staying lifted and lengthened through my spine, and I'm side bending over, and I'm lifting and releasing. And I always like to take it in the opposite direction. And let's try one more time as we switch the legs. I usually do 3 or 4 on each side. Sometimes I add a little rotation. I'll show you that next. So we're going to lift one arm. We're going to side bend over. Now pause here, and we're just going to turn. So I've got my hands supported on this ball. We're just going to turn. I'm rotating my rib cage, so now my head, my eyes are gazing down toward the mat. And then I'm going to use those side bodies to turn back towards you and lift back up and side bend the other way. So this is a nice controlled stretch in both directions. And I want you to try that a few times. You can choose whichever variation felt best in your body to add to your practice this week. Well, that was our mermaid. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope one of those variations felt good in your body. I might suggest that throughout the week, try some different ones, see what feels best and what you like, and add it into your repertoire as you practice each day. We would love to see you. So if you're able to, maybe film with your phone, just a short video of yourself doing the exercise and post it to our Facebook or our Instagram page at CoreStar Pilates. And we're using the hashtag RealBodiesDoingPilates, which, you know, Pilates is for everybody. And I hope you're finding that in this series. Thanks so much. Until next time, I'll look forward to seeing you again.